Good evening, good morning, and good night, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene in This the Dark Crusade, where we once again find us in the Baldwin's Gift area of town, where in the same open marketplace, vacant, at the moment, vacant marketplace, because, at this time of night, where Gale is once again just enjoying a night spell, clearly in deep thought as he's walking, almost muttering to himself. He's, is very open for approach if there's any other K-Knights out there that notices him and wants to strike up for a chat. He's just almost pacing back and forth through the square, just clearly thinking. So you can just enter the scene whenever you want to.
Yeah, there is another person present. Can you turn down the volume because I'm getting a lot of
echo?
Yeah.
Okay, wait a second. I will see if I can find some headset. Find a headset. I tried to find it for the last day or so, but wait a second.
All right, that's better. Madeline will just look at this guy and for a little while, and will approach him, not threateningly or from his back or anything. She'll walk up. Good evening, monsieur.
Oh, okay. I'm just testing now.
Better.
Good evening, Sister Madeline.
Just please.
Madeline.
I do not need any such names. It is not fitting for me.
I will keep that in mind. So, how does the night fare for you?
It fares well, as well as these nights fare us, but we have the luxury of time and thoughts that can be just left in the mind without having to act on them. How long we can enjoy that? Good question, but sooner or later we will have quite another situation.
There will be a situation. Precisely my thoughts, which is why I'm out here walking. The fresh night air helps one think. And I've been preoccupied with a lot of thought about the coming difficulties that may face us, and this is for all I know, this city is rather unprecedented in its situation. With there, as we have already said, and I'm repeating it despite the fact it might be redundant, no elders, no pecking order in place, no structure, no system, just free K-Knights doing whatever they please. And like for some that,
I would say.
Apologies. Is it apologies? Please continue if you.
Oh, I'm just saying how strange and potentially unsettling it is to suddenly find yourself in a city where this has put in a place that no other city seems to be on this planet. So.
That suffers the same lack of direction and structure in him.
Still not have elders who already well established in the city. I see many people talk of power, talk of maneuvering. I find that curious that would be your first concern, but then again.
Where there's power to be gained, people like to clamor towards it. It's how our kind tend to act, from high to low. And
there was one other question that you could ask about such a thing. What would that be, I wonder?
wait a second. The volume is a little bit weird. Please repeat that.
She says, if there was any other question that you could ask about this city, this situation we're in, what would that question be, I wonder?
Another question? Well, one question one can ask is, what are the potential risks of such maneuvering? It might seem weird, but or odd for me to say that, considering the road I am on. But to think about it, there's a prince. The prince is coming, or his emissaries. His eyes are on us, certainly, and whoever wants to seize the power should also consider the risks of him doing so beyond the usual risks of being in charge. For who knows how the prince might react to whoever clan or individual claiming the city.
Indeed, you are specimen, a fine specimen of the person on the road of kings. He smiles. Do you want me to roll some dice for you?
What perception, empathy?
Yeah.
Just roll perception for me, please. I don't have empathy, so just roll 3 dice. Since I don't have a camera, it's better that you roll dice that actually can matter.
First, I'll roll my manipulation. One moment. It would be manipulation.
Subterfuge.
Whoa.
How many successes are there? I can't see it properly.
That's 5 successes.
No, wait, don't bother rolling. I am completely convinced.
Yeah. She seems to be. I mean, she says that, and yeah, she seems to be genuine and seems to compliment you. Seems to.
Yeah.
And she just smiles at you and just looks down a bit and just. So, in your mind, how would we go about? I mean, one thing is that if we could all agree, we don't even know. We don't even know how many of us there are and who we are. And I mean, supposedly, if we were to elect one to lead us, we would have to all get together, or at least have a concurrence among us. No?
No. This is some point how one would elect such a person is indeed a good question, and in my head it would make sense for representatives from each clan, perhaps, or clan or bloodline within the city to decide such a course of action instead of pressing every single Canaanite into a room. If each clan can come with or bloodline can come with a representative to voice their clan's opinion on the matter, it would make such proceedings much more elegant and less clunky, to put it simply. It's but as I said, unprecedented. It's an unprecedented situation as far as I know. But electing a leader is not. That's not the hardest part. Getting it done in time, however, might be an issue.
Indeed, it would. That would
Since
be
there's
more
no
difficult than many other things to get an opinion or get the decision made by everyone in the city would be quite the thing. Hmm?
Yes, it's or can you say the last part of the sentence again?
She's just saying that probably one of the most difficult things about this would be for people to agree to it, but also to get everyone and to hear out everyone.
Yes.
So everyone is heard. That seems quite hard for her.
Yeah, he agrees. That was I agree. It's to do such a thing would one thing you would have to find everyone and get them in one place and get everyone to agree, and that would be a very long, strenuous process. Which is why I think my suggestion about having the clans themselves discuss amongst themselves to have someone represent their interests, meet with the other representatives to discuss how to structure the city, because even without the looming, I wouldn't say threat, but the looming presence of the Prince of the Levant and the Holy Lands, we still have our traditions that someone needs to enforce. There still needs to be order so that we can survive, or at least prosper in the city. Where there's no oversight, there could be horrible violations of the laws that govern our kind.
I suppose that's true.
If there's no oversight, then people could just people could just wantonly murder each other without oversight. There could easily end up with when there's no organized system for domains, it could easily turn into mobs of people just claiming swaths of the city and warring over it. Chaos serves no one's interests here. And as we all know, the prince is coming. I think it's better to have a presented baron and a system in place by that time. Then, for the people who are afraid of tyranny, it would be easier to avoid a potential outsider coming in, taking the power, or tyrannical laws being handed down to us by the prince, if we can already show our fair city is well functioning and maintained. If it's in good hands.
Your last statement I agree with, but let's also be the part, as I am quite sure that you would suggest that you would be the disappointed Baron, and this puts a bit of strain on your argument.
Would it? Because
does not make what you say any less true. That is correct, but
I mean, it could seem biased. I could see why you would mean that, but why me? Why me? Why should I aspire, claim that I could be a good leader, or at least a good representative for us? Well, as is already pointed out, I'm a road of been educated towards governing our kind since almost since my embrace, is one thing. And also, there's also a very pragmatic matter for those that, for the others, that if there is someone here and the prince is displeased with, let's say the prince is displeased with how we're doing things here, then there's one to take the fall. There's no reprisals coming down on all the Canaanites as a whole, all the clans. It should just be one man who will take all the risks in exchange for governorship.
Will it now?
And of course, for those that support such a baron,
How would you know what the Prince of Jerusalem finds a suitable punishment for one's present mistakes? I have heard him quite ruthless. You say one takes the risks, you say, but maybe not. Maybe he finds that people have selected this leader, and this leader suddenly offended me greatly. Now they must know that they should choose better in the future.
Of course, one can never know, but how prudent is it to give reprisals out to an entire population, especially when you have recently established yourself as a prince of the Holy Lands after a grueling war? It would be, I think it would be, I would assume that it's unlikely to have the prince come down as a, with his fists down on all of us if we have an elected official who bends the knee, even if he's displeased with that elected official. I don't think it's going to be a problem for everyone else, but just for the man or woman
I do not
takes
hope
the
so.
risk.
And you're perhaps right. You have more knowledge of things, it seems, than I do, but
I'm not
I know
claiming
that people in such positions,
knowledge, but
men usually have quite the pride within them, and pride can do some very terrible things to a human and the kindred.
pride is a pride is so pride stands for fall, isn't that a saying? It's true, but I'm not speaking from a position of pride. I'm simply stating that I consider myself a worthy candidate. If anything else, there needs to be at least be someone who is willing and who sees the risks and is willing to govern and have the duties to his charges at heart. So I'm saying, and of course, for those that elect such a person, there are of course advantages. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But whoever it is, I think it needs to be implemented quickly. The time we have for thought and no action might be over sooner rather than later. Of course, one can't do such a thing rashly, but still, I don't know how much time we have.
Neither do I, but I do not think you are the only person who thinks him or herself as a worthy candidate. She shrugs a little, and she has a smile on her face. She just nods at you, but at least you are honest about your intentions. That is commendable, at least.
If well, it's easy to hide. It's to hide one's intentions and skulk about in the shadows with one's wants and desires. I don't press it on other people, but it's on. I'm an honorable man. I answer questions truthfully, and that's why I explained to you my desires. At, for that comes from this situation we are in. Whoever is elected, I will serve under faithfully, as I am a man of my word. And since I'm stops to think a
Man of
little.
his word. She just repeats that, a man of his word, as she just looks at you. Her smile doesn't change, but she doesn't say anything else. She just looks at you as she says that.
Remember, my entire code of ethics is based around one's honor, one's word. This is an important facet of life for those that walk on the road of kings. If you break your word, then you have no honor, and if you have no honor, you have no worth. At least that's how I view myself. You can do a perception empathy check on him if you want to.
No,
But
no, she's
he's not
thinking of
hiding
her
anything.
own self.
He speaks completely honestly. Very.
Yeah, she's gathering that much. Her mind is somewhat is a completely different place. She doesn't doubt him. She doesn't doubt him when he says this. She's thinking of quite a few other things.
Yeah, I'm just like in case you wanted to roll.
No,
I wouldn't hide it,
um,
but
but she just stands there and says, "Well, should we be so fortunate to have you and as our representatives? I'm sure you that coat of honor would be to our great benefit."
as do I, of course. But I am, of course, biased towards
Wow,
myself.
I'm fucking. I have four successes
You
because that
are
was
godly today, but you're godly today. You know, you
yeah.
could be
But
lying.
you can yeah. But she says that and
Try to roll
she
to
just
see if how much of a chance I have. I failed. I got 2 1s and a 7.
well yeah. But
Yeah.
it's she will just walk a little with you and just she'll just so I'm not asking you to tell me where you sleep, but you seem to be around here a lot. Uh, that is a more fitting place than others, but I'm surely you do not reside in this place. It seems to be below your standing in society.
Um, oh, see, I have not yet decided where he lives, so
No,
I,
but I mean, well,
I, I,
you
I
can
can't
choose
just
whether or
answer.
not he confirms that he lives there because what here is it's not the best part of town. It's a slum essentially.
No, no, no. Goblin is actually a very well-off place. It's a very. This is a very actually very good place in town. It's the new. It's for the new upper class, which is Frankish people. Wait a second. Let me find it. We are city districts. Let me just read it to you so you have an idea. Uh, Baldwin's gift. The area of the city that Baldwin of Boulogne gave over to Frankish settlers as their own. Most of the buildings as of Middle Eastern style, although a few Western European buildings have been erected since the Franks occupied the area. Most of the Frankish settlers are ex-soldiers or others hangovers left for the First Crusade. You know,
Okay,
most
okay.
settlers
Yeah.
were granted. So it's very.
But she'll just look around and she'll then she won't say that because if that's the case,
It,
then she would actually not
it's
comment it
very.
because then she would assume he lives here. But
It's a very.
she will then she will simply car- she will ask him or she will say something on the lines of so you are we have all not been here for more than some months. What was it this promise of a power vacuum that brought you here, or were there other reasons to travel here?
Power vacuums was one thing, but uh, my clan has a lot of travelers in it, and for most of my existence, I have been as a as a Canaanite, I've been rather stationary. I've been living in Constantinople for a long time, and I had been a part. I had wanted to see the results of the Crusade and our and the Christian faith reclaiming the Holy Lands firsthand. And
You
since
lived
this
in
was a city,
Constantinople? Oh, I have never seen the city. I so would like to.
it's it's a marvel. It's a marvel. It is a marvel, a, a ground marvel. As as Santiago said the other day, the Romans do like their cities, and it was a good place to live. It was a good place to live and learn. But now that but so I was attracted to this place because it was you know you hear all these rumors of this new and open city, or not open, but um, opportunity filled city, I should say. and at the same time, I've been rather nostalgic towards the ideals presented to the Crusaders, and I wanted to see how they were implemented. So I came here to see the. I came here to see the. I came here to satisfy my own curiosity as well.
More of these honorable men, you need to see their good works for the Lord. Hmm. She seems a little distant. Holy shit. Yeah. This time I only got 2 successes. I'll
I let
roll.
me roll. So let me just roll for quickness. Or do you want to roll?
Yeah, I'll roll 3 dice.
Just roll so that it's on record.
Yeah,
God damn
and you
it!
have 1 success. So again, she seems fairly genuine when she says that yeah, that
You know, she's
line.
just lying her teeth off, and I don't know. I'm just there. My low empathy.
You don't catch it. You can just hear that she says it, and she seems to.
Yeah, then again, I'm not observing her as much as I'm just observing the area. So
Yeah, and
several reasons.
she will she'll just for a while she won't say anything. She'll just
Yeah.
leave in Constantinople. But you said you were of the Ravanos. Were you not?
Yes, I am.
But it, well, Constantinople, of course, is not a small hamlet, but I was under the impression that Ravanos was a rare sight because they came from the Far East.
You said Paris, Paris. What?
Far East.
Far East. But as I said, a lot of us are travelers, and I was in. And Constantinople is the center of is well is not a it's not the center of the world, but it's
It is one of them, I know. And
yes.
I suppose if
There's the
travelers were to travel someplace close, it would be either Jerusalem or Constantinople.
yes. And yes, my I can straight my lineage to a member of the Ravnos that were a part of the that were from the Far East. It was one that put me on the road of kings. Actually, my grandsire, who I met after my embrace. It was educational to me. One so old, but regardless, it's as I said, we are spread out far, but our home is in the east, in the
Yes,
Far
I
East.
one can only imagine what kind of wonders lie there in the Far East.
Uh, I apologize for a second. Something came up. Be right back. I will just jump out.
Intermission. Dum da 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 dum da 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 dum da 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 dum da da da.
This broadcast is sponsored by Enron Oil and the Black Dog's Game Factory. And now for for the second part of this thrilling conversation. Anyway, he nods in agreement to the Far East. I depending on how things go here, I might have to see the Far East for myself properly. And I've only been recounted the tales
Hmm.
about it. And
But what would you? I'm interested to hear. I mean, what would you do if you were selected Baron and you were moderately successful in bending to this powerful Nosferatu? What would you do?
I would For one thing, I would start in putting in structure where there has been none. Well, of course not.
And you said you would have the clans argue for themselves, but that is the easy part. What would you do when they cannot agree?
When they cannot agree, when
What would you have when you have three clans fighting over something, cannot agree and cannot let up? They need someone. What would you do then?
one it's well, it depends on the conflict itself. One has to mediate, of course. A fist, coming down with one's fist, especially in our position, is not a prudent choice. At any rate, at any rate, if there were three clans who were struggling over, let's say this area, he gestures around towards Baldwin's gift. It entirely depends on which clans we're doing it. If there's a clan that has more connection towards, let's say, there were the Assamites and La Sombra and the children of the great serpent, as they call them, or followers, then I would of course judge the ones that want to have the domain that's been given to the Westerners, to the clans that have more of a tie with those from Europe. That would only be sensible, would only be fair to let the Sombra have it. It also depends on how the risks the conflict could present. If it actually could brew down into actual violence, then one needs to shut down the conflict immediately. And you can always as I said, it's a good question. You present a good question, and there's no easy answer to if three clans, as the example you came up with, if three clans were struggling over domain or some other dispute, it would depend on the disputes. It's hard to say. I could say now, whatever. I could say whatever in your favor. That would be good to win your favor in this discussion, but what's important for the city at the time, I would just prevent conflict because, as I said, structure is important for us. I'm essentially going to just roll subterfuge to avoid the question. Manipulation subterfuge, or just to talk out of it.
Yeah. How many dice do you have?
Wait a second. It's not that he doesn't have an answer, but it's not that he doesn't just want to give a clear one. I think it's 5 dice. Roll 5. Manipulation 3, subterfuge.
Yeah.
Subterfuge.
So that's one success.
Boo! Why do you get the dice?
I will just do a intelligence alertness.
I think it's perception, empathy, if you're going to see through me. Because I'm essentially trying.
Well, okay, fair enough.
I'm not going to do it. Not going to be like that's definitely how it is, because I'm not a system man. I'm a lore person, but that's generally how I've seen it's been done. So I just assume that's how it's handled.
I think you're going to be one success. So
I think Defender wins in this case.
Yeah. So Madeline will just, but she won't really say anything. She'll just listen to your response, and after a little while,
he's essentially doing the politician talk. Miss.
Yeah, and that's fine. And she doesn't really comment on that. She just listens to what you say and just says,
It's
very well. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just going to mute myself for a second. I'm just checking the mic because I thought that
I was.
Okay. Oh, the mic is fine. Okay. I thought you said it wasn't, so I was just going to. Oh.
Nope. That's fine.
Okay. Then, all in all, it depends on the situation and who is involved. And of course, if there's one clan that's has a low number and one clan that's a high, with a high number of individuals within the city, then one knows which to support now. But that's an easy conflict to solve. It's as you pointed, it's much harder to come with a good solution when it's more muddy. He scratches his neck and
But
is like,
those small
I,
details of the numbers would be what would decide it, I suppose, in your yes.
yes.
It it is indeed an interesting subject,
Yeah.
and I do appreciate you wanting to speak to me about it. But uh, well, I mean,
Well, the entire situation needs the picture we're looking at. uh, Gestures violent at the city is needs to be examined properly and considered before one can make a decision about who should be Baron or what system to implement. I think there should be one by the time Ezekiel arrives, so that things can go smoothly.
my original theory could there be a concerted effort to gather all kindred, all Canaanites, to discuss this matter. Whether they want to or not, everyone should be a part of the discussion.
And I said that while ideally speaking, one could have everyone discuss it, it would be very difficult to arrange for every Canaanite, which is why I favor the idea of representatives of each clan to meet and discuss how to proceed. He shrugs. That's just my opinion on the matter of how to arrange it efficiently.
I think you might, out of goodwill and honor, give a little too much credit to some people in the city, but you are expecting every clan to agree to one representative in a
Well,
clan
you
with
don't.
no elders, right? In a city with no elders, in a city with no formal structure, that could take a long time in itself. Not that meeting everyone in person would not take more time, but surely,
Well, every clan does not need to agree. Only the majority needs to agree for it to be, or at least a
that,
sizable majority.
yeah, yes, that would be the best start for a stable city.
If
She
everyone agreed,
smiles. It's
things
clear that she's being either sarcastic or she's hinting at that might be a problem.
yeah, she's not hiding that. So, of course, as you know, making everyone agree is
Impossible. I know.
not impossible. Impossible, but or that comes for clans or for individuals. But there should be some concerted effort, and speaking with your clanmates, there seems to be an agreement between us that something at least needs to be done, and quickly, about.
You've spoken to others? Oh, yeah, right. Yes, you spoke to others. Yes. She'll just, as I said, you're not the only one who would, out of honor or other
Well,
considerations.
one thing is aspirations, but just seeking to do good by every Canaanite in the city and bringing in a system is something I think there's a little agreement here that we need to have some proceedings take place quickly, at least. Was my point. I wasn't referring to people seeking personal power or positions.
No, no ruler, no king ever desires personal power when he does the good to people. The people
True.
suddenly living on his lands. True, very true. She's being again. She's being sarcastic openly.
Yeah, that's why he's not. He's just he takes the sarcasm and is like, yeah. Well, Madeline, it was a pleasure talking to you, and
I hope.
I hope and I hope the
I must
concern.
apologize for my remarks.
No.
It is. It is some people that just try my patience sometimes. I am sorry if I was rude to you. It's a terribly bad manner of me. But yes, please. I am sure you have much to see to. It has been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, and politeness is a virtue, but sometimes these are trying times. I cannot fault you for the remarks. Anyway, I wish you a good night, and we will, of course, see each other again at some point. And he will then leave because he has things to think about. Yeah, and we can end the scene. Batman, the thing where they go to the Batmobile.